Guys, welcome back to my channel, and as you can tell by the title, I'm going to be sharing my everyday makeup routine with you guys. I've filmed a everyday makeup routine before. That was my very first YouTube video, so if you haven't checked it out, go ahead and check it out. But I have updated my routine, updated the products that I'm using, and have found some new loves for my everyday makeup routine. Before I get started in the video, I want you guys to go ahead, click that subscribe button and hit that bell so you can receive all notifications, and don't forget to comment and share as well. In my everyday makeup routine, I like to keep it simple. I like to keep the products light, and I like to keep the makeup natural as possible. Another thing I like to do for my everyday makeup routine is I like to keep all of my products in one place. And what helps me do that is keep my makeup in a makeup bag. This is the makeup bag that I am currently using. I've had this bag for I don't know how many years, but I have this really big problem with buying makeup bags and buying bags in general. I don't know what the obsession is, but I just do. So right now I am on a bag strike until I find the perfect bag for me. I have cosmetic bags laying everywhere and it's just too much. But so I've been using this makeup bag here. You can keep your products in a acrylic container or a spin rack, whatever you do, but currently this is how I store my everyday products, just to keep them in one place. Another reason why I like to store my everyday products in a makeup bag is because if I have to do my makeup on the go, I can just grab this bag and be out the door. I'm going to stop rambling and get right into the video. I've already primed my face with my primer, and I like to use the L'Oreal primer. This is the Infallible Matte Lock Primer. It is mattifying. It goes on like a lotion, but it does give a very slight mattifying effect. Nothing too matte, but I do like to use it because it is lightweight and it is easy and quick to apply. Sometimes I will skip this step, but I do like to go in with a second primer, and I like to go in with the Becca Ever Matte Primer. This primer here is a lot more mattifying, and I'll take it in the T-zone if I have time, so I'll be using this primer today. This is just going to give me a little more longevity for my makeup during the day. I honestly do not mind my oils peeping through because I don't really want to look super matte during the day. I want my skin to look very natural and still have a natural glow to it. So I just like to apply that sparingly. Then I like to go in with my foundation, and I like to use the NARS Natural Radiant Foundation. This foundation is perfect for everyday makeup because it's lightweight. It has this mousse-like texture that makes it very airy, and I don't feel like it is too heavy on the skin. I also don't want to look too made up, if that makes any sense. I still want to look very natural. So I like to go in with one pump on each side of my face, and one pump is very small. That's another thing I like about this foundation. The amount of product you get out of one pump is just enough. So I like to go in with one pump on the side of my on each side of my face, and I like to dot it in the areas where I need the most coverage. Concentrate it in the areas that I need the most coverage, and just kind of dot it everywhere else. So where I really try to cover is on my cheeks. That's where I have my breakout and acne scars, so I do like to concentrate it in the cheek area. Then I like to take a flat top kabuki brush. This is going to give me a fuller coverage, and although I don't want a full coverage foundation, I do like to use a brush that is going to apply that in a more opaque way. So you use less foundation and use a dense brush versus a beauty blender. And then I'm just going to go in on one pump on the other side of my face. And like I said, I'm going to mainly concentrate this in the cheek area. And dot it on the rest of my face. Now I have the foundation foundation on. Although it's not covering up all of my imperfections, it's covering up most, which I'm okay with. And like I said, I'm not trying to achieve this perfect, flawless look, so I'm pretty happy with this. So I'm going to be moving on to my concealer next. Concealer that I use is the MAC Studio Waterweight concealer. I have it in the shade NC35. It is very lightweight. It does provide coverage, but nothing really full coverage. It's not going to be anything like a Tarte Shape Tape, but it's still going to give you nice coverage. Another thing I like about this concealer is that it has a dropper to it. So I actually don't squeeze out any of the product onto my skin. It already has product on the tip of the dropper, so I just kind of place some of that on my eye, and then if I need to squeeze out some concealer, I would do so. A little bit of this concealer also goes a very long way. It spreads out so far that you really don't need that much concealer. So you probably will not run through this concealer. Although this is a natural look, I do like to still go in and kind of do like a highlighting effect. Not really highlighting, but just kind of like hitting those high points of my face. I don't want to look too deep. I still want to have some dimension to my skin, so I do like to go in and still place it in the areas that I would place any other concealer on any other makeup look. I like to blend that concealer out with my beauty blender. You really don't have to worry about blotchiness when you're using your beauty blender. And as you can see, a little bit of that concealer goes a very long way, so you don't need much. And it's also thin to where it kind of just melts into the skin. Then what I do is I set my concealer, and I like to set it with a little Mercier translucent setting powder. And I like to go in and set my face, and I like to set my face with the MAC Studio Fix powder foundation. This is in the shade NC45. I'm just literally setting my foundation with the MAC powder. So I like to go in with a fluffy brush and just kind of pat that onto the skin. And I just take a small amount and just pat that into the skin. Of course, I like to go in and warm up my skin, and one of the products that I've been using is the Anastasia Beverly Hills bronzing powder. This is in the shade Cappuccino. This is a really nice powder, and I just like to go in with a light hand and warm it up. And as you can see, I'm really not being strategic about my placement. I'm just warming up the perimeter of my skin. And I'm using very little of this product to do so. Now, I also like to go in and use this as an eyeshadow. And no, I do not switch my brushes. I use the same brush that I use all over my face. I take the tip of the brush and I dip it into the powder foundation like this. And I just take and rub that across my eyelid. Now you can definitely go in with an eyeshadow palette or go in with a actual eyeshadow brush. I'm really not looking for a defined look, and I'm just looking for something to warm up my eyelids and just provide a little color. And then I also take and dip my brush back into that palette, to that bronzer, and I just take and sweep it across my lash line as well, the bottom lash line. This is just going to also kind of make the eye look a little bit more natural instead of it looking so bright all the way to the very lash line. This is just really going to tone it down and just provide a more natural look. I feel like blush, it kind of goes hand in hand with the everyday natural makeup look. I feel like it's going to give your skin a nice youthful look, also give you a healthy. And currently I am using the NYX Sweet Cheeks palette. I really like this palette because of the different tones that it offers. It has a nice peach. It also has some nice shimmer blushes, as well as some pinks and some highlighting shade. And what I like to do is I like to mix this nice coral shade with this pink, and then this kind of rosy highlighting shade. So what I like to do is take a fluffy brush. This is my Eco Tools brush, and I like to go into the palette, just randomly going into those colors, tap off the excess, and then just brush it onto the cheeks. I think it's something very pretty and just youthful about a nice rosy or coral tone blush. It just adds color back into it. Also, what I like to do is I like to add a little glow, like a nice subtle glow to the skin all over. And I like to use the MAC Mineralize skin finish. This is in the shade Global Glow. I think it's a nice subtle highlighter. And I like to go in and just add it all over the skin. And of course I like to use a fluffy brush. I think using bigger brushes gives you a more natural finish. Just a nice fluffy brush is quick, it blends everything out, and you end up applying less makeup. So using a nice fluffy brush is perfect for an everyday look. One of the things I've been loving is taking and applying highlighter all over the eye, or this in particular, this skin finish, Mineralized skin finish, all over the lid, all the way up into the brow. It gives a nice natural sheen to the eye. I think that's really pretty, and I've really been loving that look. So then I move on to the brows. What I like to do is I like to keep my brows natural as possible. I like to use a more brownie taupe color. That's pretty much with every look, but especially for my everyday look. And one of the items that I have been using is the Maybelline Total Temptation Brow Definer. This is in the shade Deep Brown. One of the reasons why I've been loving this brow pencil is because I can do my brows a lot faster with this. I'm not really too worried about defining and really carving out my brows. I really just want to fill in any sparse areas and give myself a clean brow look. This is what has been doing it for me. I also like that it's a thicker pencil. Because the pencil is so thick, I can move through my brows a lot faster. I also like the spoolie on this pencil as well. It's short and it's fat, and it really helps to kind of blend out the brows. So I've really been loving this pencil. First, I like to go in and wipe off my brows. I normally do this with a Q-tip, but I'm going to just use one of my makeup removing cloths one of my Ulta makeup removing cloths to do that. And I like to brush my hairs upward. And then I take and start at the tip and just create a clean line across the bottom of my brows. And then now I just take the spoolie and I go in and brush out any harsh lines. I like to kind of brush in a backward direction. I like to brush forward and backward. This is really just to work in that product. And like I said, I'm not really trying to spend too much time doing my makeup, so this is just going to ensure that I don't have any harsh lines and my brows don't look too harsh. The next step I like to take is setting my makeup, and of course I'm going to be using the Avion facial spray. Do want to have a little bit more definition in the eyes, so I just go in with the mascara, and I switch between my Maybelline Total Temptation mascara and my Benefit Bad Girl mascara. Everyday makeup routine, I go in with the lip color. Now, one of the things that I normally gravitate towards when I'm doing my everyday makeup is a moisturizing lip product, and also just a tad bit of color to the lips. And one of the things that I've been loving to do is either taking my chapstick and placing my chapstick on first, or taking a lip balm. This is the Menthol and Eucalyptus Balm by Rosebud. This is going to provide a little bit more shine. I currently cannot find my Dr. Bronner's chapstick. It's here somewhere, but I like to use either those two products, and if I want a little bit more shine, I would use this product. So I just like to take and apply a little to the lips to provide moisture. I like the shine that it gives, but it has no color, and that's kind of another thing that I like in my everyday lip routine. I like a little color to my lips, because as you can see, my lips are kind of, they have no color, they look washed out, so I kind of dislike that look. So I like to go in with another moisturizing product, or you can even use a lipstick. But the two items that I have been loving since I've gotten them is the Bite Beauty lip products. I have the Bite Beauty lip crayon. This is in the color Glacé. I think that's how you pronounce it, Glacé. And then I have the Amuse Bouche lipstick in Chai. These two colors are so pretty. They're so natural, like a natural kind of burgundy rose tone shade, and they are so moisturizing. Even these products have like a mentholated feel to them, but I like to go in with either one of these products. I keep both of them in my bag along with my lip balm or a chapstick, and I just like to take and place this color in the center of my lips. And this is the one that I'm placing in my lips is the Chai color. And this is just to add a little color and bring a little life back into my lips. So I hope you guys enjoyed my everyday makeup routine. If you guys have not tried any of the makeup products that I've used today, please do so. The ones that I highly recommend has to be the NARS Natural Radiant Foundation, the Matte Mineralized Skin Finish, as well as the Bite Beauty products. Those three products I highly recommend. I feel like those have made a huge difference in my everyday makeup routine. So definitely give those a try. So you guys, thank you so much for watching and tuning in. Until next time, bye.